All right, so I wanted to walk you guys through my Thursday back day. Consists of deadlifts mainly, training for competition and stuff. So I focus on the deadlift the majority of the time. But it's also a great exercise, obviously, to work on your posterior chain and your back. I'm on my progression program, which is a 7 week cycle. And it starts with 8 reps of progressive sets by 40 pounds. Depending on the weight you lift, your jumps will vary. But right now, I'm on my fives, so I'm a few weeks in, and I do all of my pulls at a deficit, roughly a 3-inch deficit off that bumper plate you see me standing on, just to stretch out more. This is going to put me in a better position for my normal deadlifts because I have to stretch my hamstrings out more, and I'm trying to keep my back as tight as possible. It's going to be really hard to keep it flat, but it's putting a lot more pressure on the middle of my back doing these deficit deadlifts rather than my lower back, just because that's where it wants to round since I'm down so low. And it really helps me initiate that pull off the floor, thus helping my overall deadlift. Starting next week, I am going to start just normal deadlifts and everything and see where it goes from there. But right now, I'm still warming up. Or actually, this is my first workout set. I'm sorry, 315 for 5. So I do 315 for 5, and then from here, I'll go up 40 pounds to 355 and keep doing sets of 5. And as you could tell, I'm getting a little serious because the shorts came off, and later the shirt will come off because we're in summertime now and it's really, really hot. But pulls are feeling really good. I try to do double overhand as long as possible. This is my 355 right now, but the set after this is going to be 395, so that's going to be my last double overhand set. But I'm also focusing on keeping this bar as close to my body as possible, keeping it centered so that I'm not leaning too far forward or not leaning so far back that I fall backwards, and working on my initial speed. One thing I found with my deadlifts that really helped that speed off of the floor is tension in my hamstrings. Really getting those hamstrings to fire and keeping my back very, very tight and using it as if it was a giant lever, as you're seeing here. As I'm pressing through the floor and pulling in one motion and keeping my back in place. It's probably the hardest part of the deadlift. So many backs round because it's hard for them to keep it in place, which gives them a stronger pull off of the floor, but it makes the lockout very, very difficult. So I engage a lot of my lats and keep my elbows tucked. And right now I'm at 435, and I do this set with a hook grip just to train the hook grip a little bit, and it's difficult for me to do anything really over 3 reps with the hook grip just because it's so painful. But, I wanted to get one working set in here with my hook grip just to get some practice with it, and it's still feeling good, still feeling strong as long as no calluses tear. And then that's when I bring in the straps, because once I switch to the hook grip instead of my uneven grip, I train with the straps now just because I always want to train with the double overhand. If I went to a switch grip, then it would change everything in my pull, so I want to keep the mechanics the same. And it hasn't really changed much of anything. My grip strength's pretty good. I've pulled 500 with a double overhand before and want to try and get up to that 600 mark someday, but right now I'm at 475, still beltless. The weight felt great. I mean, it's 7 a.m. right now, and the weight's flying up, really. Feel good, feel strong, even though I'm really exhausted from the day before where I did a lot of landscaping work and stuff, so I was already tired. But this is my last set here, beltless, at 515. Felt a little slow, but for the most part it was smooth. It was very, very smooth. It didn't break. The stability in my hips have gotten so much better. I've been using the hip machines a lot and a slingshot a lot and stretching out my groin as much as possible to work on the stability in there. And that's going to help me more in my squat in the long run, but I didn't feel as shaky. The hamstrings weren't shaking so crazy. It looked like I was taking off like a rocket, but for the most part, very strong, very smooth. And from there, I wanted the 10-pound PR. I've never pulled 545 before from a deficit, yet alone for reps. I did that for 6 last week without a belt. And I threw the belt on just to be safe because my back was feeling fatigued, and I got another big goal in mind. But right now, this is 555. I wanted a 10-pound PR for reps, and it came up pretty smooth. Definitely a grind, it was hard, not going to lie. But like I said, I belted up just to be safe because the goal in mind was 600. I've never pulled 600 from a deficit ever, not even for one. The last time I attempted that was almost exactly a year ago when I went to pull it from a deficit and I passed out, you know, which is kind of funny. I remember going for it and I tried so hard I just lost my breath and I passed out. But, you know, I lived obviously, and here's 600 right now. And I managed to pull this 3 times. And by the 4th one, I got it off of the ground, but I was just gassed. There wasn't anything left in the tank, you know. If I was fresh, I definitely would have pulled it for 5. But either way, it was like I pulled it for 1. I was like, awesome, let's keep it rolling, you know. But then also in my mind is like, I'm like, wow, this weight is really, really heavy. This is very difficult. But I wanted that 5 reps, so I kept pulling. And I go for this 4th one here. And I start pulling it off of the ground, but I just didn't have the back power to keep pulling through. So finished up with that, and now I'm moving on to my speed work, and it's power cleans. A lot of the time, I power clean first before my deadlifts to trick my CNS to fire my quick twitch muscles a little bit quicker and more consistent, and that's why my pulls are so fast, just because I incorporate so much of the Olympic movements. But I'm training for a competition, so the deadlift's more important right now. And you're probably wondering why I do 2 tuck jumps before my working set here. And my working set's at 205, and these are pause hang cleans. I do the 2 tuck jumps so that it fires my quick twitch muscle fibers, and then my mind thinks it's still firing those, so when I go to my power clean, it's firing those same muscles and trying to do it quickly and efficiently. That's why I like to do the box jumps, tuck jumps, whatever, before a lot of my power clean squats, deadlifts. I usually don't show those because it's boring and, you know, it takes up a lot of time, but today I want to show you guys. And right now the speed's feeling good, technique's feeling good. I mean, it's only 205, but, you know, I do 4 sets of 4 all together, and this is my 2nd set here. I'll bore you guys with all 4 sets I got on video. But what's nice about these and that pause at the knee for about a 2 count is it's also the isometric movement. I'm getting all 3 movements in there. I'm getting my concentric movement, my isometric, and my not my eccentric. I lied. No eccentric because I dropped the weight. But that big part is the isometric right there in the middle, where it's keeping my hamstrings, my butt, and my back as tight as possible, and then re-engaging them. So in other words, I'm actually going to build more mass by doing that movement, and it's also more difficult, and I can't do as much weight. So, you know, I get to focus on technique a little bit more, though, too. And, I mean, I credit them, these pause cleans, to my 355 power clean I did not too long ago, just because that was a 10-pound PR for me, and I honestly don't ever go over 315 in training with my power clean. It's all speed technique based. You know, I'm not trying to compete at it, and I'm not trying to show off or whatever, so I just, you know, do it for speed and technique, and it's crossed over, and I PR'd by 10 pounds, and I thought easily. It was way easier than a 345 was that I got a year ago. But, you know, if you guys have any questions about the Olympic lifts and stuff, please feel free to comment below or even message me on my Facebook page, The Basement, and my Instagram page, which is also The Basement. So you can follow me at any one of those on some coaching cues and pointers. But, like I said, power cleans are feeling great. You know, I'm looking a little bit sweaty. That's what we want, working out hard. And then from here, I'm going to be going into my ab workout. And I only show you guys 1 set of my abs just because I don't want to bore you with all 5 sets. But I go on my glute ham machine and I do sit-ups on there. And I do stretch back as far as I can, which you'll see here in a little bit. But the flexibility in my lower back for extension is not very good. I've been working on it a lot with the seal stretch, you know, as you can see there. And then you can see how tight my hamstrings are because the middle of my back has to round in order to touch the pad. So I'm always stretching out the hamstrings, the hips, and everything, trying to work on that mobility. But I wanted to do these abs, and I'm big on getting more interior work than the exterior. So I did 8 working sets on the deadlift. And, you know, only 3 reps on the last one. So I was 38 reps total on pulls. And then I did 16 reps total with the power cleans. So, you know, that's a lot of reps added up. So I want to make sure I get at least 100 abs in to overdo it. Not necessarily overdo it, but I'm overcompensating to work on strengthening up the inside of my core too. So, you know, my lower back and everything doesn't get too tight and too strong, where it's going to pull my glutes up and my hamstrings up, tightening those more, and then weakening my hip flexors and everything else. But also getting some accessory work in for my hamstrings and lower back. I'm doing some banded good mornings for sets of 15. Right now I'm just doing a set of 15 with the bar and the bands just to get it in and loosen myself up. But, you know, this is going to top it off, and I'm going to meet that whole exterior-interior thing in reps that I was just talking about with my abs right on the dot, so that we'll have an even amount of reps. And in this clip right here, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of a band malfunction where it came off, and for my last set, I'm going to double wrap it at the bottom so that it doesn't happen again. You know, and the look on my face is kind of silly, and I'm also getting a little bit of a gut there. Oh boy. I don't think that 220 class is going to be coming too easy anymore. But luckily that was lightweight, you know, so that the weight didn't go flying all over the place. It was only 70 pounds, you know, 50-pound bar. But, yeah. Hey, guys, I hope you liked the video. Don't mind me commentating through the whole thing and everything like that and explaining the workouts and so on. But you guys can also follow me on Instagram for little video clips, clients, success, and whatnot. And also my Facebook page, The Basement Fitness Center. All right, guys, please like the video. Please share. Thank you.